Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm very excited to be bringing you my Week 3 team building video for the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, last week we did take our first loss of the season already. Parasect Germain sitting at 1-1. Good game for Slyroh in that one, but it's important that we get right back on track, and who better to do this against than my Week 3 opponent. He is none other than the one and only FranCTrode and FC Volcarona, making their comeback this season in the PPL. Franc, his links will be down in the description. He needs no introduction. You know, if you're following me and you're not following him, I don't know why. This is a man who basically was one of the people who verbally got me into doing YouTube videos. He's a lovely guy who was my first sub, my first follower on Twitter, which he didn't need to do, but it was he's been an amazing influence on me, very supportive. So, you know, if you haven't for some reason checked him out, make sure you do. He's fantastic. But he is our opponent this week, so everything aside, you know, we have to fight this out. He's sitting at 0-2. He's looking for his first win. We're looking to get back on track. This is going to be a good game. So let's take a look at the squad Franc can pick from. He filled out his entire roster of 11, and he has got, should be appearing on the screen right about now, Mega-Gardevoir, Starmie, Hippowdon, Cobalion, Rotom-Mow, Entei, Golbat, Snorlax, Poliwrath, Stoutland, and Spinder, the mighty Spinder. So he's got some powerful threats on his team. He sniped me a couple of times in the draft. I wanted his first two, but I didn't get them. So yeah, he's got those guys. Now, I think this team is beatable. I'm a bit more confident about this matchup than I was last week. So without further ado, let's get right into the team that I'm going to be bringing. And first up, we are going to have Blaziken. Shamo is back after a very, very promising debut in Week 1. Blaziken's back for Week 3. We have got a Choice Scarf Blaziken here with the moves, with the moves Flare Blitz, High Jump Kick, Stone Edge, and Thunder Punch. We have got 76 in HP, max attack, adamant with 180 in speed. Now, I can afford to run adamant this week because those 180 in speed EVs will mean that I am outspeeding everything on his team that isn't Scarfed or Stoutland in the Sand. I'm outspeeding all of them. Powerful coverage. Flare Blitz, I'm pretty sure Oko's offensive Mega-Voir. You know, Thunder Punch, that will hit the likes of Starmie and Poliwrath and Golbat fairly hard. High Jump Kick is High Jump Kick, it does what it does. He doesn't have any Ghost types, which is very nice. I don't think he has anyway. No, he doesn't have any Ghost types, so that's going to be good. Thunder Punch, I've been over actually. Stone Edge, another nice move to be able to hit the likes of Golbat. It'll also hit Entei, and most things for neutral damage. So Blaziken, I'm thinking, could put in a decent shift here. Important to prove that it wasn't just a fluke Week 1, and that we can work with a different Blaziken set. But yeah, could be nice for some late game cleaning, you know, High Jump Kicking once his Psychic types are out of the way, Flare Blitzing when Starmie isn't there. Hippo's a bit of a problem, but I think I have ways and means of dealing with Powdon if he brings it. So that's going to be Blaziken. Really hopeful for this set. It looks like he can do a decent amount of damage to his team, and that High Jump Kick is going to be very nice for a potential Snorlax as well. Difficult to take that thing down. So next on the list we are going to have Mega-Scizor. Shears returns, a bit of a bad debut last week, but hopefully we can look to make it work this week. We have got, of course, Technician, Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Defog Roost. We have got max HP, 108 in attack with an adamant nature, and 148 in speed. So once again, we've got a little bit of a speedy Scizor this week. Reason for that, I want to, this is a bit of an odd one, I want to speed creep anything that might speed creep my own Crocodile. Because last week I made a bit of an error with my EVs on Crook. I didn't put enough in. So it's potential that people might try and, you know, expand on that and try and outspeed me. So I've put a little bit in to speed creep, a potential speed creep of Franc's, which he might well do. Bullet Punch, U-Turn, fairly stand on Scizor, Defog and Roost fairly stand on a bulkier set as well. So that's what we're going for here. Defog is nice for Blaziken and other members of the team that are coming up. It'd be nice to keep Scizor healthy. Bullet Punch could be nice against likes of Mega-Voir if it's getting out of control, and it's just nice to have a little bit of priority there that can do massive damage off the bat. So, you know, Scizor looking for it to be gaining me the momentum sometime with those, what will sometimes be slow U-turns, but sometimes they'll be nippy, speedy U-turns. Keep the rocks away, and tank a hit or two around. So that is that, and we can move on to the third member of my team, and that is going to be Jellicent. Jellicent has returned after, you know, getting itself a KO in its debut. That was nice. Once again, we've gone physically defensive here with the Water Absorb leftovers. Scald, Shadow Ball, Toxic, and Recover are going to be the moves of choice on there. As we see, max HP, max defense, bold nature. Jellicent will be nice to take hits from Entei. The best move Entei has to hit it is a banded bite, because for some reason it doesn't get crunch, but it gets bite. Oh, Game Freak. You spoil us with your strange ways sometimes. But yeah, Jellicent's really nice to be taking on the Entei. I can try and Toxic Stall that. Hopefully take some hits from a potential Cobalion, deal nice damage to Hippo. It's not specially defensive, but it will take a hit from Mega-War and Starmie, and it can at least hit them with Shadow Ball. Toxic mainly there for, you know, it's nice to wear down the Entei, get that on the Rotom if it's bulky as well. Snorlax if it's not a rest variant, if it is in fact, what's that, Assault Vest, if it's an Assault Vest set. Toxic would be nice to wear that down. Toxic on most of his things is good, really. This doesn't do so well against the likes of Golbat, Rotom obviously. I'll only be Toxic on the switch if I can predict it. It doesn't want to be taking on his special attackers, it can take a hit, it doesn't want to take any more than that. And it can try and do some nice things against a Stoutland if he wants to bring that too. You know, I'm taking hits fairly effectively from it. Certainly if it's not maxed out Adamant. So yeah, Jellicent, one of my walls, looking to get some nice residual around, maybe get some burns if I can, and deal damage to his big special hitters. Even though it might not 1v1 them, it can at least get a hit off if I get a clean switch. So that's Jellicent. Fourth member of the team, that's going to be Latias. Redmond, there's coming to its third game. It didn't appear in the first, but it was there. We have got a sort of pseudo bulky set here, leftovers, Levitate, of course, its only ability. We've got Psyshock, Shadow Ball, Carmine, and Recover. We've got max HP, 116 in defense, and 140 special attack with that modest nature. Carmine Latias did okay in some of my practice games. Able to 2-hit KO some variants of Snorlax. Psyshock, Shadow Ball, they're fairly useful coverage moves to have, hit a lot of his stuff neutrally. Carmine set is going to be nice here. You know, I don't want to be taking on hits from Mega-War and indeed Starmie with this guy, but if I can get a couple of Carmines up, I can take a hit and then get a +2 Shadow Ball off on them. You know, Hippo still wants to be taking the hits from this thing, unless I get 2 set up, of course. And yeah, the rest of the team, it just kind of hits neutrally. A nice defensive setup mon, hoping that it can do some work in this one. Now, as we sort of have got into this team, you'll realise there is one big problem, and that is kind of, I don't have too many things that want to switch in on special hits, especially from the likes of Gardevoir. So I need something that can take a hit on the special side, but also try and tank the Psyshocks that it might be packing as well, because Mega-War is a problem for this team. So with that, we're going to get into the 5th pick, and that is Sinatra the Sylveon. Leftovers, Pixelate ability. Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, Psyshock, and Wish. We've got 248 in HP, 116 defense with that bold nature, 68 special attack, 76 into special defense. So a mainly physical wall here again. But I don't have to massively invest in that 130 special defense, it's good as it is. What Sylveon does for my team is it takes any 2 Psyshock or Hyper Voice from a timid Mega Gardevoir, and if he brings Mega Gardevoir, I'm expecting timid. Frank's been burned before by not having enough speed on his Mega-War, and he'll want to be outspeeding stuff like on my team potential max speed Crook, various ones of mine around the sort of base 90 to 100 level. So I'm thinking if he brings Mega-War, it'll be timid. That means I can take, as I say, any 2 of those hits. I can at least fire off with a Shadow Ball. If he's not doing too much damage, I can Wish, pass that around, get damage and everything else. You know, Sylveon is still hitting very hard, 68 into special attack. That was just what was left over from being able to take those hits from Mega Gardevoir. So I put them into special attack, and it just means it can hit a little bit harder. So that is Sylveon. As I say, nice neutral damage across the board on most of his things, mainly there to take hits from Mega Gardevoir. But what I really need on this team is something that can just hit unnaturally hard. You know, I've got Blaziken, but I want something else, ideally on the special side. So, 6th member of the team, that's going to be Tornadus. Chicago is here with a choice specs set. With Prankster as the ability, as it is, both abilities for Tornadus are not going to come into play in this game. Because I am rocking out with Hurricane, Sludge Wave, Grass Knot, and Focus Blast. 20 in HP, max special attack, and 236 in speed with that timid nature. Now, speed EVs on that will allow me to outspeed anything unboosted or unscarfed on Franc's team. I've EV'd basically to outspeed his second fastest. Am I outspeeding his second fastest? Yeah, outspeed his second fastest one, which I think is Cobalion. That's not entirely sure what I said before. I can outspeed anything unboosted on his team that isn't Starmie. Should have made that a bit more clear. Starmie naturally outspeeds everyone on my team, so I can't outspeed that, so I've EV'd to outspeed the next fastest thing, which is that Cobalion at base 108, I want to say? I forget. Either way, Specs Tornadus, other than other than Snorlax, he doesn't have switch-ins to Specs Hurricane. You know, he actually doesn't. It will 2-hit KO, I'm pretty sure, everything else on his team. Maybe the bulkiest possible AV Entei will take 2, but nothing else really wants to take 2. Megavoire, if he's bulky, possibly might, but I have Sludge Wave for that. Grass Knot will hit the Hippowdon pretty hard as well. I am conscious of the fact he might be packing a cheeky Rindo Berry, so it'd be nice to scout for that before I start Grass Knotting Hippowdon. You know, Cobalion gets bodied by Hurricanes. It hits it neutrally, but it's not particularly specially defensive. Rotomo, that'll get destroyed by Hurricane or Sludge Wave. Entei might take one depending on the spread. Golbat, if he's specially defensive, might take a Hurricane as well, but I think he'll be afraid of the Heat Wave that I might be packing. Hang on, why would I say that? That's not what I was talking about for Golbat. I think that's more along the lines of Rotom and Cobalion. Golbat doesn't fear Heat Wave, but it's still a Golbat at the end of the day. It's not going to be taking too many hits, especially if he's not invested on the special side. I'd say Snorlax is the only thing that really wants to take on this Tornadus, and ideally I have ways of dealing with that. Poliwrath, Stoutland, Spinder, they're not really taking Hurricanes, let's be honest about this. Tornadus is an early sort of identified win condition for me. It can put the hurt on so much of his stuff, and if we have to get into a kind of one of my things dies, I bring in Tornadus and something on his team dies, well, we'll just have to see where that goes. But yeah, Specs Tornadus, hoping it can go better than 1-1, which is what it's done every single time I've ever used a Tornadus in any kind of draft thing. Be that sort of last week or when I was doing sort of a jokey AdCab one. Tornadus always went 1-1, so I'm hoping it can go better this time. Fingers crossed. So that is the team I'm going to be bringing. I sort of rambled a little bit towards the end there. Franc's team, major threats on his side. I've really kind of identified them fairly early on. Mega-Gardevoir and Starmie. For slightly different reasons. You know, Mega-Gardevoir just hits unnaturally hard. If he's bringing it, I'm fairly certain he will be packing Hidden Power Fire just for the Mega-Scizor, who might be able to take on a Hyper Voice. And as I say, you know, that mixed Sylveon is my only chance of taking any hits on either physical or special side. Those being Psyshock, of course, and Hyper Voice respectively. So Mega-Gardevoir is an issue. I just need to try and outspeed it and take it out and whittle it down. And again, Tornadus is going to be quite useful there. The Bullet Punch from Scizor too. Starmie's threatening in a very different kind of way in that it naturally outspeeds everything on my team. So, you know, if he decides to do what's quite popular, and that is just Scarf that, he will be outspeeding everything no matter what. So that could be a bit of a problem. Starmie's coverage is monumental. You know, a set with the likes of Hydro Pump, I guess Shadow Ball, Hidden Power Fire, and on the Ice Beam maybe. Thunderbolt perhaps even, to hit the Jellicent. He's going to be hitting me very hard with a series of moves. And, you know, much as I have a Sylveon, it's not really meant to take on Starmie firstly and foremostly. You know, its priority is to take on Mega-Gardevoir if it can. So Starmie, I'm going to have to try and rely on setup with Latias and hope that Ice Beam doesn't do too much. So that could be a problem in and of itself. But as far as mons I think he's going to be bringing, you know, those two, I'm certain they're going to be there. Mega-Gardevoir and Starmie, they will be coming. I'm so certain of it. They put so much pressure on my team, and it's going to take a lot to deal with them. Hippowdon, I can see Hippowdon coming. I might even see him not bring Sandstream, because Hippowdon is something that he's going to want to try and deal with my Mega-Sciz, among other things, you know. I'm fairly sure Hippowdon will be coming defensively. Cobalion, not so sure. You know, he's got a potential rocker in Hippowdon who's going to be taking on hits a little bit better, I would think. And, you know, I have some switch-ins to his stab. You know, I have plenty of switch into close combat. Stone Edge, unreliable. And, you know, the iron heads and stuff. I have things to take that as well. So I'm not sure about that. Rotom-Mow, I could see him bringing Rotom-Mow. Nice, potential speedy, potential bulky burner of things that can volt switch around. You'll notice I'm not bringing my ground type, so I don't have an electric immunity. But I do have a Latias that can take that on. If he brings it Entei, I think he could be bringing Entei. You know, a banded Entei is nothing to mess with. He's going to want fire of some description to deal with Mega-Scizor for sure. I do have a couple of stops to it, but I could see him bringing Entei. Golbat, not so much. He would lack a certain amount of potential other hazard removal. You know, he only had Starmie before, he's got Golbat, who can try and do something there. Snorlax, I could see him bringing Snorlax. It's a nice switch in to soak up my special hits. And the other three, not so much. Poliwrath, almost certainly not. Stoutland, outside chance, and Spinder, not this time. So I would say it's those 6 I mentioned: Mega Gardevoir, Starmie, Hippowdon, Rotom-Mow, Entei, and Snorlax are the things I could see him bringing most likely. And I think I have a team that can deal with those mons. So that is going to wrap things up from me. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. Remember to head down to the description to check out links to the PPL Twitter and YouTube to keep up to date with all things PPL. And of course, links to my opponent FranCTrode will be down there too. And if you like anything on his Twitter page, he will probably respond to it in seconds, because that's what he does. But keep your eyes peeled. A little bit later on in the week, hopefully Saturday. Actually, maybe not. I'm out. I'll have to see what I do about that. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for future videos. We'll have the pre-game entertainment. That's always nice to enjoy a little bit before the game. And of course, the game, which will hopefully be going up in the next couple of days. So keep your eyes peeled for them. But yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap things up. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.